I'm Jason, UFC, and today we have a story about Chael Sonnen slams UFC welterweight number 6 contender Shavkat Rakhmonov for his call-out of Kelvin Gastelum. It was about as wimpy as you could do a call-out, is what Chael Sonnen says. MMA analyst Chael Sonnen has questioned Shavkat Rakhmonov for his recent call-out of the returning welterweight Kelvin Gastelum. In his return to action last month, Kelvin Gastelum got back to his winning ways with a victory over Chris Curtis. Since then, many have wondered what's next for Kelvin, with Gastelum himself being open to the idea of a move back to the welterweight division. As we know, there are super killers in the welterweight division right now. That's my favorite division. That includes Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's currently the number 6 ranked welterweight in the UFC. The unbeaten 28-year-old holds a record of 17-0. Wow. With many tipping him to be a future champion in the division. Okay. Shavkat Rakhmonov took it upon himself to suggest a matchup with Kelvin Gastelum. In the eyes of Chael Sonnen, that was not a great move. Rakhmonov, called out Kelvin Gastelum, and it was nice, it was friendly, right? I mean, it was about as wimpy as you could do a call out while still qualifying as a call out. It was more like a suggestion or an idea that came from him than it was a call out. In fact, it was even a question. Should I be the one to welcome Kelvin Gastelum back to the 170-pound division, is what Shavkat Rakhmonov said, right? So it wasn't a call out, according to Chael. It wasn't a call out. It was a question, right? This is what Chael Sonnen said about Rakhmonov. You had a very powerful person say, your next fight will be for the world championship. Chael Sonnen said, you sat on that for 3 months and decided to ask in question form about Kelvin Gastelum. There are so many words I could use to describe Rakhmonov. I'm not going to say that. I'm just not going to say that. One way or the other, Rakhmonov is destined for big things. Do you agree with Chael Sonnen? How much of a favorite would Shavkat Rakhmonov be if he stepped into the octagon versus Kelvin Gastelum? Do I agree with Chael Sonnen in this as far as it being a wimpy call out? I don't really think calling out to fight someone is a wimpy. It's not really wimpy. I get it that it wasn't really a call out. My problem with this is it just seems pretty obvious. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 17-0, number 6 ranked welterweight. The idea that he's calling out a middleweight, right, who has not fought in the welterweight division in 5-6 years, I just don't understand. Like, how would that help Shavkat Rakhmonov? Shavkat Rakhmonov needs to be calling out Kobe Covington, Hamza Chimaev, Kamal Usman, Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns, Wonderboy Thompson, Jack Della Maddalena, Ian Gary. I mean, I'm an MMA casual. I am an MMA casual. But I just named, like, how many people was that? 6, 7 people that Shavkat Rakhmonov could have called out in the welterweight division before calling out Kelvin Gastelum. Like, it just doesn't make sense, especially because not only has Kelvin Gastelum not been a welterweight in like 5 or 6 years, but he left the welterweight division because he kept missing weight. So it's just like Shavkat Rakhmonov, number 6 ranked welterweight. You're going to call out a guy who missed weight in the welterweight division, hasn't fought in the welterweight division in 5 or 6 years. I think Kelvin Gastelum is like 1-2 in his last 3 fights, or not like a record that Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's 17-0, should be calling out. And my thing is Shavkat Rakhmonov, he fights Kelvin Gastelum, and he defeats Kelvin Gastelum. What is that going to do for his career? Yes, it'll get him a few more followers on Twitter and things like that because Kelvin Gastelum is a name, but Shavkat Rakhmonov, his eyes should be on the prize, and that should be the Bilal Muhammad's of the world, the Kamal Usmans of the world, the Kobe Cup. You know, the welterweight division is my favorite division. I think it is completely stacked, and from 1 to 5, I think from 1 to 5, you can make a real argument that every single one of those contenders could be a champion at this point. Maybe not Gilbert Burns, because I think Gilbert Burns is still ranked number 5 or something like that. I think Shavkat Rakhmonov should be ranked number 5, but Bilal Muhammad, Kobe Covington, Kamal Usman, and Hamza Chimaev, all of those, you can make an argument that they could easily be champions. So Shavkat Rakhmonov should be looking at fighters like that. He should be looking at the Ian Garys of the world, the Jack Dellas of the world, not Neil Magny's. Shavkat Rakhmonov last fight was versus Jeff Neal. He tapped Jeff Neal out. Jeff Neal is like ranked number 9, number 10 in the welterweight division. He could be calling out Vicente Luque. He could be calling out what's that kid's name? The Sean Brady's of the world, the RD. There's a lot. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of the Michelle Pereiras there are a lot of names in the welterweight division that Shavkat Rakhmonov could call out before calling out Kelvin Gastelum. So, in that fact, I do agree with Chael Sonnen that I'm not gonna call it wimpy or anything because who am I to call anyone wimpy? I wouldn't use the word wimpy when you call out for a fight, but I do agree that if Chael Sonnen is saying that, hey, he should have just really called Kelvin Gastelum out, I don't agree with that. But if he's saying that, why are you even calling out Kelvin Gastelum in that sense? I agree with Chael Sonnen on that. It doesn't make sense. I don't think a victory over Kelvin Gastelum helps Shavkat Rakhmonov get a title shot in any way, shape, or form. But let me know your opinion of this story. I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about Chael Sonnen slams the number 6 ranked welterweight 17-0 Shavkat Rakhmonov for his call-out of Kelvin Gastelum. To welcome him back to the welterweight division. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching